Hi, I'm Kristen Namdahl with Red Heart Yarns. Today's video is about the treasure chest throw. And if you notice over here, this is a really great sampler afghan using different types of textured stitches. And what we've done is worked each of the different sections in strips and then sewn them together at the end. We have two different types of cables and two different types of ways of making baubles. Actually, the baubles are made the same way, but it's a different repeat and a different way of featuring them within the patterns. So I'm going to show you both types of strips, and let's get started. Okay, the first thing we need to do is go over the pattern and talk about the different types of sets of information on the pattern. First of all, we have our specialty stitch section, which tells you the different types of special stitches we're going to be using, the 1/2 right cross, and then describing exactly what you need to do to make that. Then the 4/4 right cross, which is another type of a cable, and it tells you exactly how to do that, because then once you get down into the pattern, it'll just say the name of the stitch and you have to then refer back to the specialty stitches until you remember. The notes section is also a very important part of the pattern to read, because especially in this one, it tells you how many different types of pieces you're making and how you're going to be constructing the afghan. The throw's made from 7 strips. There are center sections of the cable strip, the 2 outside sections of the cable strip, and then the diamond strip is made identically. And then when you get down to those strips, it'll tell you how many of each to make. Then there's also 2 other ways to follow the pattern. One of them is the line-by-line instructions for each of the strips, and then we have the chart section here for each of the strips, including a photo to show you what each one is going to look like. I'm going to read the line-by-line instructions and teach you some of the tips and tricks for the specialty stitches, just so to be able to explain to you what it says and show you what it means at the same time. So let's get started on that part. With this sample, I've already begun the cable strip, the center version of the cable strip, and I've already completed rows 1 through 12, which is the original repeat, and then I started a second repeat. I've already done rows 1 through 4, and I'm going to start on a row 5. And row 5 says to repeat row 1, and in this one we do the 1/2 right cross. The row starts with a purl 3. And then to do the 1/2 right cross, you're going to need a cable needle. And a 1/2 right cross is to take the first 2 stitches, place them onto a cable needle, and put it to the back of the work. Knit the next stitch from the left-hand needle. Then knit those 2 stitches on the cable needle. Now I'm going to lay this down onto the table so that you can see. You can't really see that one as well, but this is the different repeats of that stitch. That's what a 1/2 right cross is going to look like. Okay, so we'll continue on with this row, and that's going to be a purl 3. Knit 8. Purl 3, and then I'll get to show you the cross again. Okay, so a 1/2 right cross is to slip the first 2 stitches onto a cable needle, slide that to the back of your work, knit the next stitch from the left-hand needle as normal, then knit the 2 stitches off of the cable needle, right cross complete, and then the remainder of this row is just a purl 3. Okay, on the following row, we're going to start a bobble. And what a bobble really means is that you increase twice into the same stitch, working 3 stitches into one, then on a following row, now in this pattern it'll be a couple rows later, you decrease those stitches back down, and by creating volume in a small space and then decreasing it back down to the original stitch size, that's how you get these little bumps or bobbles. So I'm going to show you how to do the increase on this particular row, and this would be row 6, which is repeating row 2, which starts with a knit 2, And then to create the bobble, we're going to do a knit one, purl one, knit one, all into the same stitch. And you do that by keeping that stitch on the left-hand needle until all 3 stitches are made. So we'll do knit one, keeping it still on the needle, move the yarn to the front to do the purl, purl one, put the yarn back to the back of the needle to do the knit one. So we did knit one, purl one, knit one, and now we'll slide that stitch off the needle. Then we do a purl 3, and then we'll repeat another bobble, working knit one, leaving that stitch on the left-hand needle, move the yarn to the front to do the purl, and move the yarn to the back to do the knit, and then slide the stitch off the left-hand needle. 3 stitches worked into that stitch. Okay, now we're going to start row 7 of the 12-row repeat, and that's where we're going to create this cable in the center by crossing 4 stitches over 4 stitches. So let's get started on that. Row 7 starts with a purl 5. And one thing to note on your pattern is that when you start those bobbles by creating those increases in the previous row, your stitch count is going to be different now until we decrease back down on the purl 3 together row, just as a little reminder. So now we've did the purl 5, we're going to knit 3, purl 5, and then we're going to do the 4 over 4 right cross style cable. And that means we're going to take our cable needle again, and there's different types of cable needles. I've been using this one. This one works really well on the shorter cables, like the 1 over 2 right cross. For a larger one, you may want to use a bigger one. Either one will work fine. Even if you don't have one handy and you have an extra double point needle, that would work as well. But I'm going to show you on this one. We're going to slip the first 4 stitches to the cable needle, slide it to the back of the work, knit the next 4 stitches, then knit those 4 stitches off of the cable needle, and we've got our twist again. See how that's starting to twist again? And then just finish off the row. And then on the row after this is when we will decrease our bobbles back down to the original size by doing a purl 3 together. And I'm going to show you that on the other swatch, because that one we do lots of them, and so you'll get to see the purl 3 together on this one as well. Now this is the diamond strip. This is the one that's worked exactly the same on all of the strips, and we're going to make 3 of these total for the Afghan. And if you see on here, what this does is we start with 1 bobble and increase the number of bobbles out until we get to the halfway point, and then following the instructions you'll make 1 less bobble going forward until you come to the end, and that's what creates the diamond in the bobble texture. This is a 36-row repeat, which is larger than the other repeat, but once you follow the line-by-line or chart instructions, you'll end up making them both the same length to be uniform for the for the throw. Now this one, I've completed the repeat up through rows 25, so I'm going to start a row 26. So our bobbles on this one, we are increasing and decreasing the bobbles all in the same row. Like the last set of bobbles are being decreased back down, and we're starting a new set by doing the increase. We're doing it all in the same row here, which is kind of neat. So we start with a purl 7, and we're going to do a purl 3 together, which is inserting the needle into all 3 of the next stitches. Yarn over and pull through all 3 and slide all 3 off the needle at the same time. Then the next bobble is to create the knit 1, purl 1, knit 1 all in the same stitch. So keeping that stitch on the left hand needle till all 3 steps are complete, we're going to knit 1 with yarn in back, purl 1 with yarn in front, knit 1 with yarn in back, and then slide the stitch off the needle. And then we're going to purl 3 together, the next 3. So as you'll see, and if we're going to repeat this across the entire row, so you're going to get a lot of practice doing bobbles on this one. We're going to purl 3 together, alternating with knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, all in the same stitch. And as a reminder, you're going to keep that left hand stitch on the needle, knit one with yarn in back, purl one with yarn in front, and knit one with yarn in back, and then slide the stitch on the left needle off. And then purl 3 together. And you'll just repeat that across the row, and whether you follow the chart or line by line instructions, every other row is going to have a different sequence of those to create the diamond shape in it. Each of these strips, once you're completed, is going to be sewn together, and then to do the edging on the lower and upper ends, you might want to switch to a wider or a longer needle, because we're going to be picking up and knitting 177 stitches at one time. So a longer needle, this one is the 14-inch Susan Bates, that might be more comfortable for accommodating that many stitches. This pattern and many more are available on the website, so please come check it out at redheart.com.